Alright you guys, so now I'm just going to break down the relay. We got Jaden up first, and the first thing, Jaden, I want you to see is your start. So we're going to go ahead and watch it real time first, and then I'll break it down. Alright, so I'm going to go back a second. So notice how when they say take your marks and you grab the blocks that you lean back. Alright, so you're standing up and then you grab the blocks, you put your foot back, and then watch from this point on how your hips kind of drop. See how they went down right there? So this is when you grab the blocks, you step back and your hips drop. That's because you're leaning back on the blocks, and you don't want to do that, and I'll explain that more in a second. And then also what I want you to notice is that when they say go, your first reaction is to flex your muscles and kind of load up, and then you fly off the blocks. Okay, so after the buzzer goes off, you have to lean forward because you started leaning back. You have to flex your muscles because they weren't flexed already, and then you can jump off. So you basically got to do 3 things once the buzzer goes, instead of just doing 1, and that's jumping off the blocks. So I put in here a video of my start, which we took at San Jose Country Club, and I want you to notice the difference between what I do and what you do. So this is obviously at the take your marks part of the start, and you see how I'm not leaning back at all, and I didn't lean back when they said take your marks. So right now my center of gravity, my weight, whatever you want to call it, my weight is focused right here in the front of the block. And what you did, because you leaned back, is you put your weight on your back foot back here, and you don't want to do that because then when the start goes off, you've got to shift your weight forward to the front of the block. In other words, you got to get your weight here before you jump off. So I just keep my weight here in the first place, and it makes it easier and it saves time. And then another thing you'll notice is that my arms are already flexed here. So they're nice and bent. They're grabbing onto the blocks. My muscles are ready to fire. And then when Jackson says go, you're going to see that I just explode off the blocks. I don't have to flex. I don't have to load up. I just pull back with my arms, jump with my legs, and then fly forward. So that's what you got to do. Learn to keep your weight on your front foot. Flex before flex when they say take your marks, and then when they say go, all you got to do is throw the block behind you and dive in the pool, like I did. So anyway, that was just the one thing I saw with your start. And then I also want you to notice how many strokes you're taking. So your arms are moving really fast, and your stroke rate is just super fast. And we're going to see how that compares to Sam in your 50 free. So this is a video of your 50 freestyle. Jaden, you're right here in the middle, and then Sam is right up above you. And we can also look at your start here. So this is at the take your marks phase. And then when they say go, watch how your first reaction is to flex. And then you come off the blocks. Both Sam and the other kid are off the block yet, and your toe is still on. So again, your first reaction is to flex and then jump off. Sam right now is already in the water. His hands are splashing. This kid's about to be in, and then you're still up there in the air. So you can notice your start here. And then I also want you to see how Sam takes longer strokes than you do. So your arms are just going bam, 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 and you're moving them super fast. But moving your arms faster is not the fastest way to swim. So you want to be efficient with your strokes. In other words, you want to go the same distance in less strokes. So in this 50 freestyle, I watched it multiple times and I counted. Jaden, you took 43 strokes in this 50 freestyle, and Sam took 34. Obviously Sam won, and he took 9 less strokes than you did in a 50. So in 23 seconds, or however long it took you to swim this lap, he took 9 less strokes. So that's 9 less times that his arms are having to recover over the water, 9 less times that his shoulder muscles are working, all that stuff. So he's not as tired because he's taken less strokes. Just for comparison, again, Jaden, you took 43 strokes in this 50. On the 200 freestyle relay that I was on, Jackson took 30 strokes, Akash took 34, I took 25, and Nick took 29, and then once again you took 43. So use your underwaters and then take longer strokes. So reach your hand farther in front of your head and then pull it back by your hips. So Sam, his hand hits the water way out in front of his shoulder, and then you're going to see his other arm, it's going to pop out right here, right at his hips. So he's reaching as far forward and as far back as he can, and because he's taking longer strokes, he takes less strokes, and he beat you on that 50. So just something to think about during practice. Count how many strokes you take each lap, and then just try to get that number lower and lower to improve your efficiency. And then one other thing that you need to work on is your underwaters. So you're going to see off of this wall that you don't do any underwater kicks. So when you push off the wall on your turns, it basically is like a reset for your speed. You get to flip, and then you get this big jump off the wall, and you got all this speed, and then you just kind of waste it right here by not doing any underwater kicks. So any elite swimmer is going to do tons of underwater, and they're going to go super fast. So practice that next year. And then also you don't want to breathe on your first stroke off the wall, because again, you just got that big push off and you don't want to lose your speed. So, the time was really solid, and there's definitely a couple of things you can improve to get that time even lower. Jaden, you were a 53.83. Alright, so now we're going to look at Ty's relay start here. So notice how when you come off the block, Ty, your hands are not going in a streamline. So again, I don't know if you do this on every relay start, but obviously going in the water with your hands crossed is not very good. You want to go in the water in a streamline. And then I think coming off of this turn, you did some really nice underwaters to put you out past the flags. And I want you to notice, so the rhythm of your stroke, Ty, you have like a gallop stroke. So when you swim, your arms go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're going to watch this rhythm here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I think sometimes it takes you a while to get into that rhythm coming off the turn, which we're going to see in a second. One, two. 1, 2. So that turn was like an extreme example, because I think that this breakout was just abnormally bad for you. I don't think it looks this slow on your normal breakouts, but when you come off the wall, lots of times, because I've watched your 500 in dual meets, you'll push off the wall on your turn, and it'll be like 4 or 5 strokes before you get into your rhythm. So what you want to do is come off the wall, and as soon as you break out, you're already in that 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, that efficient stroke that you have. So coming off this wall, it takes you till 1, 2, 1, 2, till, the white buoy to get into that rhythm. Once you get in the rhythm, you go really fast, and you move down the pool, and you go 5:05 in the 500, all that great stuff. But coming off the turn, you got to find a way to get into that rhythm right away. All right, and then we're going to notice, this is one thing I'm going to talk about for a little bit on this turn. So on your turn, your hands come flying out of the water, and you don't use them at all to help you flip. So I put in a video of Ryan Lochte to show you how he uses his arms on his flip turns. And I'm just using Ty as an example because his is the most obvious, but Sam, you're going to see that you do this too with your arms. And then Jaden and Fabian, you guys don't do what Ryan Lochte does as well. So, all of you guys pay attention to this video because you all can learn something from it. So Ryan Lochte, obviously second fastest swimmer in the world for many, many years. And we're just going to take a look at his flip turn because obviously he's a good model because he's super fast. So we're going to go back a second and we're going to watch that one more time. And honestly, he's a little bit long on this turn because he's staring at the wall right now, but he finishes his stroke, he goes down into his flip. So right here he's starting. So Ty, at this point in your flip, your hands would have been out of the water right here. And what Ryan Lochte is doing is he's turning his hands over. So right now his palms are facing the bottom of the pool. And what he's going to do is he's going to pull his arms down towards his head, which is going to help him flip over faster. So it's like Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So as he throws his arms down, then his feet and his legs are going to be able to fling this way over the water and get to the wall faster, and it's going to help him flip over. It's going to make it easier for him to flip. So he turns his hands over and he's going to throw his hands towards his head. And what that's going to do is going to help his body flip. And then also, now that his feet hit the wall, because he threw his hands toward his head, he's already ready to go in his streamline. And by the time he pushes off the wall, his hands are locked together and he's exploding off the wall into his next lap. So Ty, we're going to see your flip turn again. And I just want you to notice how you don't use your hands at all to help you flip. They just kind of sit there, you know, they're just chilling. And you put them up into a streamline, but they don't do anything to help you with your flip turn. So work on that, and then Sam, you're going to see that you do a very similar thing on your flip turn that you can also work on. Ty, other than that, the swim was good, 54.4, and then the splits look pretty good as well, so nice swim there. And then Fabian, what you need to learn over the next year is a relay start. You got to learn how to do a relay start. So your start is really good because you throw the block with your arms. You use your arms on your start, which is great. But when Ty touches the wall, which is right here, all of your body is still on the block. Your hands, both feet, everything. And then after that, you can explode off and you have a good start. But I want you to watch Akash, another San Jose Country Club video of a relay start, because the relay start gives you a significant advantage. Basically gives you a head start. So here we go. You're going to see I'm just starting my last stroke, okay? And Akash is standing with 1 foot on the front of the block, 1 foot behind. And the relay start, you're going to do an arm swing where your arms swing up over your head, okay, just like this. And then you're going to step your foot forward so both feet are on the front of the block. And meanwhile, your arms are making this arm swing just like this, okay? And you're going to end up jumping and starting your jump and throwing your body forward before the person in the water touches the wall. So right now, I'm touching the wall, and you notice that Akash, 90% of his body is off of the block. The only thing that's left is his feet. So with you, again, 100% of your body was on the block. So if you can learn to do a relay start, then it's going to cut half a second to 3/4 of a second off your swim right away. And then you know you're already jumping off the block as I touch. So just something to work on. And then here's your start again that we can take a look at. And then I also want you to notice how you hold your breath on this first 50. So right now you haven't breathed yet. Okay, there's one. The flip turn. And let's see how many times you breathe on this second lap. Alright, you've breathed twice so far. 3 times. 4. Okay, so you breathed 4 times on the first 50. And then one other thing is you were a little bit long on this turn. See how there was like half a second there where you were just gliding and looking at the wall? You want to eliminate that. Okay, and then you can see right away, coming into your third lap, you kind of regret holding your breath so much. So you come off the wall, you breathe on your first stroke. Not good. Keep your head down coming off the turn so you keep your speed. And then this lap, you're going to see that you breathe every 3. And then when we get closer to the turn, you're going to breathe every 2. So what that tells me is that you held your breath too much on the first 50 and you went into oxygen debt. So your muscles need oxygen to fire and, you know, to work. So if you hold your breath too much on the first 50, then you're going to need a lot more air on the second 50 to compensate. And so, you know, you're having to take a lot of breaths on the second 50. So I would recommend if you breathe every 3, if you normally breathe every 3, breathe every 5 for like the whole 100. Don't breathe every 10 the first 50 and then every 3 the second 50. Breathe every 5 for all the laps, or if you breathe every 2 strokes, breathe every 4 or breathe every 6 for the whole 100, something like that. So you're not holding your breath for a ton in the beginning and then not holding it at all at the end. And then we're also going to look at your flip turn here, because your hands don't stick up in the air like Ty and like Sam, as we're going to see in a second, but your arms come to the side and they make like arm circles to kind of help you flip, which is good because you're using your arms to help you flip, but you want to keep your arms nice and narrow so that you don't get that water resistance. So let's go back and watch it. So right now, this is your arm right here, and it's tough to follow because you got splashed, but that's your left arm. And then you come down, so now your arms are like down here somewhere, and the arm on the other side is probably doing the same thing. So right now, you're just going to make arm circles here on either side to kind of help you flip. And then now they're going to start recovering. You can see them up to your streamline, and you've got to get them up there into a streamline before you push off, where Ryan Lochte, his arms were just already up there because he used his arms to help him flip. So just something to think about. Try to do your turn more like Ryan Lochte, because he's a great swimmer. And then again, you need your air, so you're coming up and breathing on the first stroke, which you don't really want to do. You do have a nice finish, though. You find a way to get your head down on this last lap and on the finish, which I thought was really nice. And then the time was also great, 54:88. Obviously your fastest 100 free ever, so well done there. Just think about controlling your breathing and then your flip turn as well. All right, so Sam, you want to learn how to do the step forward start like Akash. I don't know if you've watched any of the other technique tips videos on this channel, but starting with 2 feet on the front of the blocks isn't bad, but it's not as fast as doing it like we saw Akash do it a few minutes ago. So just wanted to point that out. And then I also want you to see how much your head moves when you swim. And it moves a ton even when you're not breathing. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning of this swim. So you're going to break out, and already we see that your head is looking way over here. All right. And then your hand comes in and your head moves to the other side. If we go back a second, we can see your goggle right here sticking out of the water. Okay, that was a terrible circle. Right there, there's your goggle. All right, and then let's see the next stroke. All right, that one you splashed too much, so we can't really tell. Okay, but we can kind of. So you see the blue logo right here for the Wolfson paw. So you can see that your head was tilted the other way, and now you kind of spin it back, and you can see the green of your goggles in the midst of the water. So again, you're not breathing, but you're still looking this way with your head. And your body follows your head. So if your head is constantly moving to the side like this, then your body is just naturally going to want to swim in like an S shape and rotate sideways and do all this crazy stuff. So you want to keep your head still when you're not breathing so that your body can stay nice and straight. And then on your flip turn, you see that you do something similar to what Ty does. So your hands are just out of the water. They're not in the water helping you flip. And then you'll also notice that because your head is moving sideways, then your legs kind of flop sideways as well. And occasionally, it's like every 4 strokes, you get this ginormous kick right here, and your leg sticks way out of the water just because your body is, swimming like this. So your legs are just kind of flopping all over the place. Here's going to be another one of those huge kicks. Bam, again, legs sticking way out of the water. And let's watch another one. Bam, there it is sticking out. So if you watch the whole 100, you do it a bunch. And so you want to keep your legs together, nice and narrow. And then if your head's not moving around, then your body's going to stay straight and your legs are going to stay in the water the whole time, which is definitely something I think you should work on. So you can see it on this 50, every 4 strokes or whatever, your leg comes flying out of the water. And then find a way to do some underwaters off of this wall. You just kind of do some freestyle kicks. And then one other thing I would say is over this next year, try to get some more endurance. So you were in the first 50, I timed it and you were out in a 24:72, so 24.7. Really, really fast, probably a second off your best 50 time. And then on this 50 that you're about to finish, you went at 28.6. So you went 4 seconds slower on this second 50 than you did on the first one. So find a way to go 24 on the first 50 and then 26 on the second 50. Because you don't want to be that much slower on the second 50. And so you see now you're just kind of struggling to get to the wall. You're running out of energy, and then you finally get there with a strong finish. And the time was awesome still though. So 53:39, great time. But then obviously if you keep your head still, if you keep your kicks in the water, if you work on your endurance, you know, that's going to come down a bunch. So that's all I have for this video, guys. I know it was really long, so if you are still watching this video and you made it this far, I applaud you for that. Definitely work on the things that I shared in this video over the next year, and you're going to see significant improvement. You guys are going to get so much faster. You guys got a lot of potential, but I just wanted to share with you a few things that I saw and that I've learned from my experience as a swimmer to help you guys improve. So good luck next year, and I hope these tips help you out.